Okay, I want to introduce you to the whys and hows of our newest program. We call it Skookum Parents, and it's a child placing agency. That means its job is to recruit, train, and support foster families and to help coordinate placement of the right foster children in those homes. Now, why do we want to do something new? Well, because there's a big problem in our foster care system. Foster parents can't get time off. They need time off occasionally. Being a foster parent is really hard. And if the children in your home have court-ordered visitation with biological parents, that's very common, by the way, then you're kind of stuck in your hometown. You can't go anywhere because your kids can't miss any visits. The state of Washington's solution for this is called respite care. It's kind of like vacation time for foster parents. You accrue it just like vacation time. And when you decide you want to use some, the state promises to find another place for the kids in your home to stay while you do whatever you need to do. Travel, visit family, decompress, whatever. But here's the problem. Right now, respite care is provided by other foster families, and there aren't nearly enough foster families to begin with, so the state is rarely able to keep their respite care promise. Now, foster parents are resourceful people. Many times they figure out how to make it work. Sometimes foster families trade. I'll keep your kids this weekend if you keep mine next. But a lot of them know it's unlikely respite care will be available for them, so they just white knuckle it. They go months or years without asking for time off because they have to. We can fix that. And I think we need to fix that. I'm in awe of foster families who can care for hundreds of kids over several decades and never ask for respite care. But it shouldn't take that kind of supernatural endurance to be a foster parent. So here's the future we imagine. Respite care, it's time off, available on demand. It's no harder than one phone call to set it up. Foster families don't have to haggle or trade. They don't have to guilt their social worker into finding respite for them. They don't have to cancel a vacation because respite was not available. They just pick up the phone, make one call, and they get the time off that they need every time. Now, it's going to take a lot of work to pull that vision of the future into the real world. It's going to require a lot more people get involved in foster care. At Skookum, our strategy is to involve more people in foster care by creating meaningful, measured steps forward, letting folks accumulate some foster parenting knowledge and experience along the way before we ask them to commit to something so immersive as long-term foster care. See, without Skookum in the picture, if you want to get involved in foster care, you kind of have two options. Watch from a distance and occasionally share stuff on Facebook, or become a long-term foster parent. And those two things are worlds apart from one another in terms of the amount of commitment. It's either 0 or 60, with nothing in between. Well, Skookum Kids is all the options in between. By creating these two intermediate steps, volunteering at our first program, Skookum House, and becoming a Skookum parent who provides short-term respite care in your own home, we invite folks to get more involved without requiring them to jump off the cliff, so to speak, into such an immersive role as long-term foster care. That approach works for some people. There are already a few folks getting licensed with Skookum Parents who want to jump straight from 0 to long-term foster care. And that's great. But we need to stop pretending like that kind of courage and commitment is normal. And besides, long-term foster care isn't even possible for everyone at every phase in their life. By creating these intermediate steps, Skookum invites more people to become involved in foster care. We make the tent bigger. So here's where we're at now. The Skookum House program is up and running at full capacity. We're always in need of more volunteers there, but we're open 24/7, and we care for about 200 kids a year. It is at full capacity. And we need your help to launch our second program, Skookum Parents. which is a really important step in this process. Skookum House is great. It's a great way for folks to get involved, but it's still a big jump to go from Skookum House volunteer to long-term foster parent. We need to build step 3. So what's it going to cost? Well, by my estimate, if we were operating for 1 full year with 10 licensed homes, here's what the budget would look like. The largest expense by far is paying the staff, but we need a place to run it too. We need offices for those staff and a conference room and a location to supervise visits with biological parents. And there's a little money available at the state of Washington to provide this service, but not much. State funding will be a smaller percentage of this program's budget even than Skookum House. But like Skookum House, this program does 2 things at once. It both creates an important intermediate step for prospective foster families, a way for them to taste and see before they commit, and also it helps address the acute shortage of respite care in our community. When we consider new programs, this is what we are looking for. We like to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Even still, we can't afford to do this just yet. Skookum is little, and this program at full capacity would represent a budget twice the size of our current one. The good news is we are growing fast. At our current growth rate, we should be able to afford this program a year from now. But Whatcom County needs this step now, not a year from now. So I'd like you to consider pitching in to make it possible for us to grow this program, the Skookum Parents program, faster. There are 3 ways to help. Of course, you can make a financial contribution at skookumkids.org/give. We have several interested foster families right now and only 1 part-time licensor. The interest is there. We just don't have the financial resources to hire enough caseworkers to meet it. You could help change that by making a monthly pledge at skookumkids.org/give. The second way, of course, is that you could become a Skookum parent yourself and bring foster children into your home for short stays while their long-term parents are away getting the break that they need. The average respite care stay is 3 days long, but respite care stays are never longer than 14 days. And if you get licensed with Skookum Kids, we'll be here to support you and train you, and you might be surprised how much fun it is. Email us if you're interested. We'd love to buy you coffee and answer any questions that you might have. And finally, help us spread the word. I bet that you have friends who would be interested to hear about our approach, to see this video, to grab coffee with me. So if you're watching this and you're thinking of someone who might be a good candidate to volunteer at Skookum House or to become a Skookum parent, hit me up. I'd love to meet you and them and talk about how we can together change the way foster kids are cared for in our community. To close, I want you to remember our objective here. A future in which every foster parent in our community can get the time off that they need when they ask for it, every time. I think that's a goal we can all get excited about. I certainly do. So what do you say? Are you in?